immigration consultant, you.
Yes.
Right. So now, Mr. Immigration Consultant, here am I to ask you 2 questions, because there's 2 questions that...
spot.
Yes, put you on the spot. Put you on the spot.
Okay.
Because there's 2 questions that I think that are very, very come very frequently asked questions. One is, if I'm going to school for 2 years, you know how you have to show proof of funds for tuition and living expenses and all that stuff. Say, for instance, you have the tuition money, right? So you show that you can pay for all of your school, or even if you only show that you can pay for 1 year. What is the requirement? You know, do I need, because it says $10,000 per year that you're there. So if you're there for 4 years, you need to show $5,000, or you just $10,000 for the first year is sufficient, and you need to show that you have a full school fee for the 4 years in your bank account to get an approval on your study permit.
Yeah. So first thing to that, you know, in any financial requirement in immigration, the more the merrier. So try to go above and beyond when it comes to the money. I know it can be difficult, but definitely go above and beyond. In terms of requirement, as you rightly said, Christina, it says per year, and that is what you have to justify. So if it is that, you say, for instance, so, you know, it's $10,000 per year, that's living expenses plus tuition. If you're there for 2 years, that's 20 grand plus your tuition. That is what you need to be aiming to provide to them and show and demonstrate. The important thing is that you can demonstrate that in different ways, or at least attempt to. So, you know, for example, if it is that you have a spouse that may not be coming with you, and that spouse is earning an income on a monthly basis, you can put forward that, hey, you know, my spouse is working, this is his job letter, he earns X, and show that. But yes, one, again, more the merrier, as well as, yes, you want to cover off that entire period that you're applying for to study or do whatever it may be in Canada, for sure.
Right. Okay. So if you're going for 2 years, you need to show money for the 2 years. If you're going for 1 year, show money for the 1 year.
There we go. There we go.
Second thing, I see quite a few rejections. People send me their rejection letters, and it says that you're rejected because we're not satisfied that you will return or you will leave Canada at the end of your studies. That, or a variation of that, is that we're not seeing enough home ties to your country, your home country, to show that you're going for the purpose of school and then you will leave after school. What can somebody do to make a strong application to not get that kind of a rejection?
Yeah, it's very tough, and particularly now with the pandemic, I say I've gotten 2 refusals that completely shattered me. You know what I mean? Not shattered me. I did best efforts. You know, one of them was a steep hill. You know, and we made our best effort. But in that regard, Christina, as you said, that is immigration's intention, right? For any temporary permits or temporary application, they want to know that eventually you will leave. And it sometimes contradict, because you hear the immigration come out and say, hey, we want our students to stay and eventually turn into permanent residents and Canadians and contribute. So it's kind of contradictory.
Yes.
But in terms of showing ties into in country, you know, family members, relatives, you know, if you have, you know, your parents back home, you know, if you have certain property, though property in and of itself is a tricky thing. You can say, oh, you know, I have a home in Jamaica, so that is my tie. No, there's no definitive answer to it, in all honesty.
I thought so.
It's a tricky one.
Yeah.
No, there is no definitive answer. But you just want to, as best as possible, think about every little thing that ties you to that country, both tangible and intangible. And as best as possible and important in any application, if you're not going with a strong explanation letter, don't go it. Don't go it. So that is one thing that I implore you guys. If you need the help of a consultant, or at least that piece of it, make sure that your explanation letter is strong. As you can imagine, and to that question specifically, a lot of the times the considerations is just based on life stage, and it's kind of hard to justify. So you have a person coming out of out of college, or just starting out of college, going to their masters, it makes sense for them to go to the school. So an immigration officer will look at that and say, hey, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you may have a 40-year-old that has a master's degree, going for another post-secondary qualification, have a big job in Jamaica. Why are you coming to Canada? Why are you coming to Canada? And that's the difficult part. And there's no real magic bullet to say, hey, we're going to put this and it will be success, because you can understand what's the rationale behind
circumstantial,
it.
Yeah.
Super circumstantial, you know. So for all those people out there that heard that question and asked that question, it may not have helped too much. I'm sorry.
No, but that's okay, because it goes to show that there's no one answer. There's no cookie cutter solution. And I think that you hit your head on the nail when you say a strong explanation letter. Strong explanation letter, which is kind of the answer that I give to where I can. I'm like, listen, like, make sure you just have a very strong application, provide everything you can provide, all the money, all of the title, all the cousin name of Jamaica, I joke. But like, you know, and then explain, because I feel like there's my concept is that when you submit your application, every possible question that the immigration consultant can ask relative to who you are and your intended to move to Canada needs to be answered in the application. Don't leave anything unanswered. If them say, boy, there's a gap here, just like that, them can. Yeah. Nothing at all.
And balance that as well, because as you know, some disclosures can lead to more questions. True. You know, that is another consideration, which again, you know, if it is that you have any grayness around it, you know, definitely speak to a professional, you know, try to get some advice in that regard. But yeah, you know, I agree with you 100%. Try not to leave any questions on the table, because as you said, they will question it and not so satisfied by the answer or what they project to be the answer, then, you know, you get knocked. And specifically and I'll just link to your questions, because both the questions were somewhat around study permits and temporary applications. Study permit thing right now, is very tricky. I've heard of a lot of refusals. So many people are coming to me that their permits are getting refused. In recent time, people in Jamaica through other consultants are getting refused, you know.
Really?
Lots of refusals coming through for study permits. I don't know the exact answer to that, but I think now everything is really influenced by this pandemic. As you know, Canada is very sensitive right now to the number and extent of people they're admitting into the country. I think, though they've not said it, I personally, and this is just a personal opinion, that it is impacting it big time. You know, and right now, because of that, they are digging into, because historically study permits is a easy 1-3 for the most part. You know, boom, 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 you have all your documents in place, boom, boom, boom. But yeah, I think a lot more scrutiny now is being given. I do think that will change as the pandemic you know, subsides and things get to a better place of normalcy. But, you know, if you are contemplating a temporary permit application or whatever it may be, study permit, visitors not even looking at visitor visas right now. But yeah,
if you are applying for a visitor visa, you have balls. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, right now you're not hearing back anytime soon. So just keep that in mind. So just keep that in mind. And if it is that you're going to go at this point in time, just make sure you more so cover all bases. All bases.
Are you seeing like a common reason for rejection, or? Because the thing is that like a lot of schools are allowing you to. I feel like there's never been a more perfect time to try and immigrate through school than now, if that's what you want to do. Because I know some people live just up the street here, so is going to school in Canada from his house in Jamaica, and I have to pay no TTC fare, all this money. His application, is it even approved? I don't even know, man. Like, it's been months for his application.
That's the thing too, right? A lot of people have started school and then get the refusal after, and then have to drop out of school as, because basically when the policy came out, the policy allowed for you to start until you got a decision. So what happened is that a lot of people started and then got that rejection and then have to drop out and then have to request refund and this and that, and
they already got class already. Are they even giving you back all your money?
Start class, and then now you have to drop out, and if you do intend to now reapply, you have to start over from scratch because they're not going to necessarily credit you for the courses that you've already done. So there's a lot of dynamics right now, which I say I am privy to, just based on, the feedback. But to your question, the routine responses, sufficient ties, not satisfied that you're going to return to your country, some people not showing sufficient funds, looking on the files themselves, because as you know, as residents and citizens of Canada, we can request immigration notes on behalf of our clients, so you read through and the rationale, I said that they're looking into certain stuff. So you're 40 and you're doing this, but it don't make sense. So I'm seeing those things on the notes, right? It don't make sense. So yeah, just be careful in this time, particularly with that. But where there's a will, there's a way. I'm not trying to discourage anybody. Don't feel like say you must get a refusal or anything like that. Please don't take what I'm saying as that. All I'm saying is that there seems to be an added layer of scrutiny to just ensure that you come in 150% on that application. For sure. For sure.
One thing I like that you said too is that because people going in thinking, okay, will I use a consultant? Is like them thinking about, okay, what is the consultant going to cost? It's expensive. But you said just before, you said even if you get the consultant just to help you with the explanation letter, that's an option. You can get partial help. That is probably more affordable, and that's all you need. You probably need help with the letter and probably somebody to just proofread documents or something, which I like. So I don't think that's a lot. I don't know if else. I certainly wasn't thinking I just need help partially. So that's definitely a good point. Some partial help for just an aspect of your application that you may think.
Absolutely. And not I don't know what I don't know business practices. There may be some consultants that say, hey, we're in the full length, then that's it. But for me, that's something that I've tried now. So somebody can reach out to me and say, hey, my employer has asked me to help them with the drafting of my employment letter. Have a look at it and let me know. Help me with the drafting and kind of thing. I'll help with that, or help me with the explanation letter. I'll help with that, So, or help me just review my Express Entry profile. Just have a look at it, make sure it's everything good for me, then boom, So yeah, I definitely offer that, and I'm sure many other consultants do as well. So that's definitely a contemplation to make. And if it's not readily apparent in whoever you're checking out, ask the question and be like, hey, is there any opportunity for you to just help me in this piece of it, or and see how it goes, for sure.
Nice. Sure. Okay, perfect. I like that.
So that's it for today, guys. I am Paul from Kenny's Concepts.
I'm Kristina from As Told by Canadian Immigrants.